From Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to Tacoma, Philadelphia, Atlanta, LA. Hey, how's it hanging, you sexy animals? It's me, Bob. Thanks for joining me again for Hardest Part of the Ring. Yeah, we were singing up top with all the city because that's where I've been. I'm recording this from a hotel as quietly as I can in Flagstaff, Arizona, which is famous for, well, I got here safely. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'm in San Diego, and driving cross country is something I'll never have to do again in my life. This is the third time I've done it with all the stuff in the car. I decided I hate it. You're brave at 23 when you do it, and the world's ahead of you when you're full of hope and promise. And when you do it at 32 years old, you're 32, so you kind of know a little more and you're a little more smug about it. You think you're better than everyone, but you're smart enough not to do anything too stupid. And when you're 40 and you do it, you're just praying not to die. Okay, let's talk about Monday Night Raw and the hardest part of the ring, which is the ring apron, by the way. It's not the middle where everyone does their finisher. Now we know the place where nobody does their finisher is the hardest part of the ring. Thanks for telling us. Screwing the whole thing up. It's an illusion. Monday Night Raw. Okay, let me give you some notes here. I watched, God help me, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I watched Raw on TV for the first time in forever. And but here I'm reviewing the Hulu Raw, so I watched this again. A few hours ago, I watched this show twice, just for you guys. So we're only reviewing the Hulu version of Raw. And maybe I'll make a note or two. We'll compare, we'll contrast, we'll exchange notes, we'll trade recipes. You'll borrow a cup of sugar and do whatever it is you gotta do. We open Monday Night Raw with Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. Why? It's in the signature. Charlotte Flair is still in the opening, and so is Naomi. Just a little FYI. The computers are cheering, and we're hyping up title matches. And Drew McIntyre is in a leather jacket, and he's thankful. And then Randy Orton shows up on the big screen and he brags about getting suspended the most times. And then Miz and Morrison, they plug the Miz reality show, which I watched an episode of because it was on the TV afterwards. And that's the most god awful drizzling pile of shit you'll ever see in your life. Even his friends are on it. It was an old episode from like 2 years ago, so Zack Ryder's on it, Dolph, and yeah, they were just busting his balls in an unnatural way. Like they were all taking perfect turns talking, so like it was a promo. But even though they're backstage and it's not as busy as it usually is, it's just you're not fooling me, guys. Anyway, what happens? Oh yeah, the Miz and Morrison they mentioned the Fiend, so that's never a good idea. And Miz says he's gonna laugh all the way to the bank, implying he will cash in a plastic green briefcase. Sorry, guys, my voice is shot. Is my voice shot? I'm trying my best, man. Get the heart pumping, get the blood boiling, get the ice water flowing through the veins, diesel fuel pumping out of every orifice. I just had a Denny's chicken tender sandwich, and it was really tiny, and I'm a little let down. Nothing else is open in Flagstaff, Arizona. I visited an Outback Steakhouse. I visited a Cracker Barrel. Nothing. We do a recap after the break. Lana was put through 9 tables, and then they hype a 6-woman tag, and Lana is told by the tag team champions Shayna and Nia Jax she will not be allowed to tag in. So I imagine that's exactly what will happen. Duh. Shayna stamps Mandy's arm. I gotta assume Mandy Rose was hurt going in because she did nothing in the match except take the stomp, so something's up. And Dana broke without her doesn't make sense, so I get why they would later do what they did. There's a bit of a miscue. Lana gets distracted by Nia for a second and she taps. So Asuka taps out Lana, and Asuka, pretty much by herself, is victorious. The match gets 8 stars, according to Stale Seltzer, the wrestling rubbernecker, and myself. We both give it 8 stars. Each gets 16 stars. Square root of which is 4. So it's 4 stars to start with. Then there's a fake handshake. We would see this later on again. and they tease the table, and Nia Jack twice says "psych" like it's 1994 when she gets her, because Nia Jax doesn't have an original brain, and puts Lana through the table for a record-breaking ninth time. Ooh, my voice, guys. I'm so sorry. For the both of you who really love this program, I apologize, guys. I'm trying my best here. We get a replay of the tag match, the men's tag match from last week, where AJ Styles was the referee, and we have we put 4 weeks into telling us how ineffective the team is going to be on a show we're supposed to be excited about? I don't even know who's on Team SmackDown, by the way. I think it's Uso, Seth, and Owens. That's all I know. Okay. Probably Ray. I don't even know. I was going to say Jeff, but he's not on that show. Who knows? AJ Styles fires up his team. He gets them psyched. And then he learns that Mr. Hughes speaks English the whole time, and he thought he didn't. And surprised they got away with this segment. It was a little off. I don't know. Dana Brooke is with Charlie Caruso, and Dana Brooke is attacked by Mia Yim, who has a funny retribution name. Here's something to scratch your noggin over. Mia Yim, whatever her retribution name is, I forget. Who cares? She's the only woman in retribution. So, for all intents and purposes, she doesn't need to exist because their whole gimmick is the numbers game. So how would she get the edge in the women's division? Because they're not going to have the Retribution dudes come out and win her matches in the women's division, and she's not going to be effective when the men are out there because there's 4 of them anyway. So the numbers already. Yeah, she doesn't need to exist. That's food for thought, guys. There's a Firefly Funhouse. This is wacky. Alexa Bliss knocks everything she does out of the park. She gets an MVP award for this wackiness because they made it work both times here. Bray Wyatt, he challenges The Miz in the Funhouse. And I think they tortured the rabbit, of course. And Bray mentions his bad side, which is the Fiend. And he does, I don't think people realize this because I'm 1,000 years old. That was a Ricky Steamboat parody that Bray was doing. Because Ricky Steamboat was originally introduced in vignettes where he had, like, very James Bond like. He'd hire ninjas to try to attack him. And I think they showed those in 85. So that's what Bray was doing. And he does the hand pose and the yeah, and he holds it for too long. He was doing Steamboat at the end of that. I don't know if anyone caught that. He was just being silly. But anyway, the Hurt Business then wrestle the New Day for the Tag Team Championship. In the long version, there's a promo beforehand where I felt like the New Day officially gave up, but that didn't make Hulu. They just show the match. Here's something self-serving for me. The Hurt Business has done a good job with most people, I think, of proving themselves to be like legitimate tough guys and grown men and people you actually want to mess with. And 75% of the Hurt Business is at least 40 years old. I think Cedric's in his 20s, so there's no one in their 30s in the Hurt Business. I just want to make that point. This match was so 2008. You had Kofi, you had Shelton, you had MVP outside, Bobby Lashley was around. Kofi Kingston doesn't care anymore. He's showing his calves. That's a sign. Kofi gets the hot tag. And Shelton stood up during the boom drop and caught Kofi for this like buckle powerbomb thing. Yeah, still a phenomenal athlete. No doubt about it. Cedric does 3 dives in a row, and I think only one of them looked okay. Like he missed one, he caught his foot on another. I don't know what the hell was going on. But Cedric's jumping around. He's ping-ponging himself back and forth. And then the new day hits Daybreak. I guess is the name of their finisher. It's like the demolition thing where the guy's on your knee, but Woods does the stomp from the top, whatever Finn Balor's move is. 1, 2, 3. The match gets 22 stars. And New Day retains. The poor announcers had to keep saying this is not just for the championship, but it's for the privilege, the honor of going to Survivor Series. Oh, good God. Going to Survivor Series. What, in the same arena? Oh, jeez. Sheamus is backstage. He gives Drew a trunk and a sword. Everything I said in that statement was true. But I think they're clearly setting up for Sheamus just to turn on him, and Sheamus will be one of those 2 or 3 week keep him busy feuds for something else. Because December is also a pretty boring season for WWE. We're just stalling to the Rumble. Oh, what are they going to do for the Rumble, I wonder? Do you think we'll have 2 WrestleManias with no people? Yeah, we're going to find out. I hope not. But Riddle does that wacky gut wrench where he drops the guy on his own arm, and I'm waiting for him to get hurt doing that. I like him otherwise. Keith Lee and T-Bar. Oh, wait, that's right. We're having a match. Sorry. Team Raw versus Retribution. Retribution comes out to nauseating, shaky camera work. Keith Lee and T-Bar, who is Dominik Dijakovic, are in the same match, and since they're known to tear it up and steal shows, they barely touch each other. Keith was great. He got the hot tag at the end. He was a believable, big tough guy, tossing bodies left and right like a sack of potatoes. And then he tags Sheamus, but he didn't want to tag Sheamus, and Sheamus gets the blind tag by stupid goddamn Braun Strowman, and no one wanted to tag stupid goddamn Braun Strowman. And then there's some kind of collision where Riddle gets smushed into stupid goddamn Braun Strowman. And Ali rolls up Riddle, 1, 2, 3, 81 stars. And there you go. So Retribution wins the match. And my prediction, I'm making 2 Survivor Series predictions right now. AJ Styles is the first eliminated in that match. Or at least on his team. You might even see the other 4 guys survive. I think AJ will barely wrestle in that match. He will be eliminated. And he'll be eliminated first. We should put a bow on the whole captain, on the best guy in the team, yada yada. And my other prediction, Lana wins the whole thing, sole survivor. There you go. Going in now. They're big on Lana. Vince loves blondes. Oh, I'm fighting sleep, guys. I'm working with me. Nikki Cross, who used to be insane, is now a concerned friend, and she was looking for Alexa Bliss. So she asks a guy none of us recognize. But then The Miz is about to wrestle Bray. And Miz, to his credit, or to somebody's credit, Miz brings up the creepy doll thing from a year ago. We had some continuity about when Bray sent the Fiend sent the creepy doll to Mrs. Toddler's house, or his toddler owns the property. Mrs. Toddler at Mrs. House. Remember that? The Abigail doll. I think that angle wore me out. But Alexa says, "Nope, you're not getting at the match." And Alexa was so good here, and so creepy. Nikki comes out. Alexa does your second fake. I'm your buddy. Don't worry, nothing. Everything's okay of the night. And then of course she turns. She slaps Nikki. They brawl. A little bit of a pull apart. Bray's music hits. Alexa's face changes. She is nailing this thing. Miz. I like watching Bray wrestle because I like how he wrestles. He uses his body in a different way, but a believable way. He uses that bulk. And he's a big tough bastard. I mean, you see him in a bar, you're not gonna want to fight him. Miz. Here's what stops Miz, in my opinion, from really being a main event guy. I know he main evented a WrestleMania with Cena in 2011, but to be a real constant main event guy and not just a fill time guy, he does have a job for life. There's no doubt about that. He doesn't like. It seems to me like he wrestles like he doesn't like getting hit, and he doesn't like being bumped. Yeah, when was the last time you saw Miz go through the table or take the couple of chairs or something like that, or just really roughhouse? When was the last time you saw Miz with a bloody nose and a busted lip. Never. I can't think of one. And he's been on TV for like 13 years. It's just, we just don't buy it. He's a guy, we accepted that he's there. And his reality show is bad. And I kind of like him sometimes. Lately, he's another one. I think he doesn't care. He's there to plug his show. And this week and last week, it looked to me like Miz is just doing an impression of The Miz. But anyway, Morrison takes a bump for Alexa, scaring him. And I thought that was great. So Bray's staying strong. Miz is getting a lot of offense on Bray. But on the other hand, Bray's not really selling it, so I think it's okay. Bray does Zeus's move from 1989, the neck wrench thing, which I get a kick out of. And John finally gets Morrison. John. Alexa tackles Morrison after some interference, and they tumble over the barricade. It looks great. And Bray turns and he shows concern. So I'm wondering if that'll be the story will be Bray's weakness. The one way to get to him, not the Fiend, but to distract Bray, is that you can't mess with Alexa or he freaks out. We hit the Abigail on Miz, 1, 2, 3, 116 stars. 116. Did I mumble through that? That's okay. This shot of Alexa, her face coming up from the barricade, similar to Vince in Mania 19 when he comes up in the ring and he's bleeding. He wrestled Hogan in that match. They're going to use that Alexa shot over and over. My buddy Brian Yang said, and he's hit it on the money. Big smile ear to ear. She looked great. She does a tight walk like a kid would on a curb. She does a tight walk on a barricade as she's singing the lyrics. She's singing the lyrics to the song. And then they both get scared by the Fiend's music and face and blackout. And I thought, oh, this segment, it just was so... Finally, something was wacky in the right way. And it's because Alexa injected new life into Bray's character. I dig it. We show a package of Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton when they were young. And the narration, this was cool. It reminded me of the 1996 video packages. Not the ones with Freddie Blassie, but I think they made Pettengill do them. The Boiler Room Brawl had these packages in '96, the SummerSlam, Mankind and Taker. The Boiler Room Brawl had this kind of weird style in narration, and they reused it here, and I liked it a lot. Drew McIntyre comes out in a kilt and a sword, and he summons the Thundercats to help him win the championship, and they have a regular match for a bit, and it's good. Orton's selling, he's making something out of nothing, and until he starts running away when things aren't going his way. The second time he tries to run away, Adam Pearce says, hey man, you're going back, and it's a no DQ count out. We can do that in the middle of the match, I guess, whoever the hell Adam. Pearce says, I know who he is. I saw him wrestle as Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce in SoCal Pro Wrestling in 2009. And I had a roommate named Adam Pearce who's not related at all. Good kid from Maine who's a landscaper. And a surfer. Anyway, I loved this match. This was the match of the night, of course. Orton is so good at this, just selling and making every single thing mean something. I say that every week about him. It's like a broken record. But he made like a thumb in the eye so important. And Drew sells and Drew works well with him. They have chemistry. They both, every time someone took that bump on the table where it doesn't really break, because it's like the beginning of a belly-to-back suplex, but they kept going to that, like one chair here, Orton took maybe one chair shot, and he had the chair and Drew's jaw, instead of just doing a bunch of chair shots no one cares about. I think Orton gave Drew one on the back. He gave him one. That's all I needed. And speaking of only needing one, it took one Claymore, not 4 Claymores and a missed Claymore and a missed RKO into another Claymore. It took one Claymore. Hit his finish once for the 1, 2, 3. This match at the beginning got me thinking, because all I was thinking was what are the different ways to screw Drew out of it? And Sheamus was the first obvious guess, of course. And then they said it was no DQ. I'm like, oh, okay, so someone's running out. But this match got me thinking about how We've been conditioned to not expect shit to happen on Raw or SmackDown for a long time. And something did happen. And this is actually the third year in recent memory, third year in a row, they've done a last minute title change to change Survivor Series. Because Brock and Ginger became Brock and AJ, thank God, in 2018. Last year, I think Brock and AJ, because they already did it, became Brock and Daniel Bryan. Or was that 2 years ago? Yeah, that was 2018. 2017 was the Ginger lost to AJ. Last year, I don't even know what the hell happened last year at Survivor Series. Last year, I think prior to Survivor Series, Nia Jax was sloppy and broke Becky Lynch's nose. Is that right? Was that also 2018? I don't know anymore. It was 2018. What the hell happened last year? I don't know. They probably fought for brand supremacy and forgot about it the next day because they all got drafted 14 times anyway. Drew McIntyre's once again the champion. Very good. Him and Roman, I gotta imagine for a couple of reasons. First of all, heel is hard to do, and there was no reason to care about Orton versus Roman. So I would imagine we're doing Drew Roman now because Roman and Rock is what they're hoping for later. Mania, I would assume. Where else would you do that match? Yeah, that's my assumption. They would do Drew Roman now while they can, and then do Roman and Rock, or bank on Roman and Rock later. They mentioned this is a main event, a WrestleMania main event quality match several times to let us know that. And this was better. To me, this was a better victory than Drew over Brock. Drew over Brock, to me, felt like a ceremony with bumps. That's what it felt like. And don't forget in this one, whereas in April, they just had the silence. In this one, the computers are cheering. So the computers went wild. Mark Henry was one of them. He's great. And there you go. That is Raw. A lot of stars were given. We have a new Universal Champion. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to watch Survivor Series as it happens. Because I'm going to be trying to get an apartment starting Thursday and then move into it right away, which can be done, but it can also not be done. So I don't know how this is going to work. So maybe you'll hear from me late. Whatever. I'm going to try my best, folks, because I do appreciate you tuning into the hardest part of the ring, which again is the apron. Okay. There's a spot between the middle of the ring and the apron. It's like 3/4 of the way or 1/4 of the way, depending on where you're standing. And that's like the middle, most rugged part, sturdy part of the structure. But the outside, it's the hardest part of the ring. Thank you very much, guys. I apologize again for my voice and hopefully not too low of a volume, but I want to be a good neighbor here to these people for one night in Flagstaff. Train, say your prayers, take your vitamins. The grass is always greener when the early bird gets the grease. We're saving trees, hugging whales, kissing hands, and shaking babies on the hardest part of the ring.